I never thought my journey into the world of online dating would lead to a nightmarish experience that would shake me to my core. This is the harrowing tale of a second date gone horribly wrong, an experience so chilling that it made me delete my dating app profile without a second thought. It all began with a promising first date. I had met Eric through a popular dating app, and after some pleasant conversations, we decided to meet in person. Our first date went splendidly. We had dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant, where we laughed, shared stories, and made plans for our next outing. I felt a genuine connection with him, and his easygoing charm put me at ease. Our first date ended with a promise to meet again soon. True to his word, Eric planned our second date. This time, he offered to pick me up from my home, a gesture that left me feeling appreciated and comfortable. As I eagerly prepared for the evening, I couldn't help but anticipate the exciting possibilities our budding connection held. When Eric arrived at my doorstep, he was just as charming as I remembered. He greeted me with a warm smile, and we set off for our night out. We decided to visit a quaint little jazz club, a place where live music filled the air, and the ambience was perfect for a romantic evening. The date started out wonderfully. We enjoyed the music, danced, and shared intimate conversations. I found myself drawn to Eric's charisma, the way he made me feel like the only person in the room. It was a night that left me eagerly anticipating our third date. But then, the evening took a bizarre and sinister turn. As we left the club and began the car ride back to my place, I noticed a drastic shift in Eric's demeanor. He grew increasingly agitated, and I couldn't help but feed off his nervous energy. As we drove down a dimly lit road, a police car came into view, its flashing lights reflecting off the rearview mirror. My heart began to race as I saw Eric's expression change from anxiety to sheer panic. The police cruiser pulled us over for a simple failure to signal, or so it seemed. The officer approached our car, and Eric's anxiety was palpable. The officer requested Eric's license and registration, which he promptly provided. However, when the officer inquired about whether Eric had been drinking, he admitted to having a single drink during dinner. That single admission was all it took for the officer to decide to conduct a field sobriety test. I sat in the passenger seat, frozen with anxiety, as I watched Eric go through the test. He stumbled and struggled to follow the instructions, his nervousness unmistakable. As the sobriety test unfolded, the officer requested to search the vehicle. Eric vehemently refused, but the officer decided to proceed with the search anyway. The car was meticulously inspected, and that's when they found it, a gun concealed beneath the driver's seat. I was in a state of shock, my mind unable to process the situation as it unfolded. As the tension in the car mounted, the officer instructed both Eric and me to step out of the vehicle. The situation was escalating rapidly, and I found myself paralyzed by fear. The officer wasn't done yet. He insisted on searching the trunk of the car, and I watched with a growing sense of dread. As the trunk was opened, the sight that met my eyes was beyond my worst nightmares. A lifeless body, wrapped in a tarp, lay in the trunk. The horror of the discovery was overwhelming, and I couldn't contain the nausea that surged within me. I rushed to the side of the road and vomited, my entire world spinning out of control. By the time I had recovered, the police had placed me in handcuffs, their stern faces leaving no room for questions. I was taken to the police station, where the interrogation began in earnest. They demanded answers, and I was in no position to refuse. Hours passed as they questioned me relentlessly, each question probing deeper into the events of that night. I recounted the evening to the best of my abilities, my voice shaky and my heart heavy with dread. It was a nightmarish experience that left me shaken to the core. The police eventually concluded that I had nothing to do with the macabre discovery in the trunk of Eric's car. They had gathered enough evidence to incriminate him, and he was taken into custody, facing charges that I couldn't even fathom. My life was forever changed by that dreadful night. I couldn't erase the haunting image of the lifeless body from my mind. The experience left me terrified, scarred, and profoundly affected. I deleted my dating app profile as soon as I could, vowing never to return to the world of online dating. It was a lesson that came at a high cost, a lesson in the dangers that could lurk behind a seemingly charming facade. The darkness that had unfolded that night was something I would never forget, a chilling reminder of the dangers that could be found in the most unexpected places.